And then Brendan had one more question, which was as you look at the current revenue mix between cell processing, we said cell engineering and biosecurity, and then consider your internal assumptions about the AI tools and racks rollouts. What do you see as the ideal revenue mix for Ginkgo by 2030? What has to happen to get there?
2030. Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, so my dream by 2030 is we're starting to put a bunch of benches to bed. And so my expectation, like if I think about the balance between, let's leave biosecurity, I'll come back to that in a second, but between like the sort of tools business, in other words, like robotics, software on the robotics, reagents going into all that infrastructure, devices, that whole ecosystem of like our tools business versus the services offerings that we offer on top of our setup, like data points and solutions. That tools versus services, I would say is like 80-20 in the tools side of the house in terms of our revenue mix in 2030. Like my hope would be we're largely taking over the general purpose R&D infrastructure and being that provider of the tools into the whole industry. So that should be dominant. When it comes to biosecurity, there it's very dependent on how things play out. It's like a very interesting time right now. So, CDC is getting rebuilt. There's a great post from Matt McKnight, who heads up our biosecurity business today. I encourage folks to read about sort of like what a rebuilt CDC looks like. I think fundamentally, you need persistent, pervasive monitoring of viruses as like foundational layer for biosecurity in the future, whether you're in a outbreak or not, just all the time. And so if that type of infrastructure gets built, here in the US and worldwide, then, who knows? Biosecurity could be 50-50 with the rest of the business. But it does depend on whether we see that adoption of sort of like monitoring technology as one of the core pillars of a biosecurity that works, a CDC that could stop the next COVID.